Welcome everyone. In today's podcast episode, we have the honor of hosting Dr. Vinay Chandrappa, a pedodontist and a pioneering member in executing Rural Satellite Dental Clinics project. Hello sir.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening sir. So sir, మనం ప్రీవియస్ ఎపిసోడ్స్లో విన్నట్టయితే మన చైర్మన్ సార్ మాట్లాడారు అబౌట్ హిస్ విజన్ అబౌట్ సాటిలైట్ డెంటల్ క్లినిక్స్ విచ్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇన్స్పైరింగ్. మనం ఓడిపోతామేమో అని భయం లేనప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా సక్సెస్ అవుతాం. అండ్ ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ దిస్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ యాజ్ అ సక్సెస్ అని చైర్మన్ సార్ అన్నప్పుడు ఇట్ సౌండెడ్ వెరీ పవర్ఫుల్ అండ్ వీ ఫెల్ట్ వెరీ ఇన్స్పైరింగ్. సో చైర్మన్ సార్ విజన్ ఇస్ గ్రేట్, అన్డౌటెడ్లీ ఇట్ ఇస్ గ్రేట్, బట్ దాన్ని మొదలుపెట్టి దాన్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయడం ఇట్స్ నాట్ అన్ ఈజీ టాస్క్. సో ఆ జర్నీని, ఆ ఇనిషియల్ డేస్లో మీ జర్నీని వినడానికి వీఆర్ వెరీ ఎక్సైటెడ్. సో థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ బీయింగ్ హియర్.
Yeah, Kavya, pleasure to speaking to you today. Yeah, of course, Chairman sir has put from, what are his thoughts and, what his thought was in earlier days and today. Then the fact is that, everyone cannot be visionary, right? So visionaries will have a much more forethought and this thing. So the visionaries, they envision something to do. But again, when it comes to implementation, equally important is that you should have a good team to implement. And also, let me very frank that our chairman is visionary, but for me is a very special in the sense. I think also you must have quoted some few names in healthcare. Stalwarts in healthcare who are very successful in the ventures today. To name them, Dr. Venkataswamy of Arvind Eye Care.
Yeah, Venkatesh Prajana.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Devi Shetty of Narayana Rudalaya. Dr. G.N. Rao of L.V. Prasad. What different our chairman is from them is that they're all their profession. They achieved something only in their profession. But in our case, our chairman is from a technical side. He was basically an engineer. In fact, sometimes it was very embarrassing to say as a dentist, we haven't tried anything, we envisioned anything which can be done, something like in dentistry like this. But as a technical person, as an engineer, he envisioned something, it can be done like that. So, in a way, he is very unique. First of all, he's not a dentist. But, with his mind, it's put his common sense. What he understood is that, so simple as a businessman also is, entrepreneur and a businessman. I think always he looks for where the, gaps are there in the community, where we can do something better. That is his mind. I think he also follows to all the, the constituent institutions or any business which are there under his house. I think he gives equal importance to every constituent, constantly find something, what can be done better.
Every minute thing.
Yeah. And today, dentist, and I am in this profession from last 30 years or so. But we never, dreamt about something we can have
like this
many rural clinics. As a dentist, you asked me then, when I joined here, I came this institution in 2007. I was just one of our faculty here. So we were only, our, ideas and views are only concise to only a smaller place, like, in the college, between four walls, thinking about, about training students, teaching, clinical skills for students, nothing beyond that. So those are very, traditional boundaries for any academician or any faculty who works in a dental institution. Today, I'm very happy that being started my professional life as an academician, now I am doing something else, but in the same profession.
True.
Correct? So in that way, I grown with this project as a person. So today, I can very frankly say that I'm a mature person, grown with that. I've seen those from initial days, that how this project started. I think chairman gave a very good background, about 10 years, a decade back, about 2011, 12, 13. For the years, constantly he was, pushing us to think in those lines. But so happened that, every time we started meeting and every time the same question used to surface.
Yeah.
Then
we heard about that from
then, we never took it seriously at that time. Then slowly somebody has to take the call.
That's what I want to know also, sir. మా ఇంజనీరింగ్ టర్మినాలజీలో చెప్పాలంటే మీరు ఒక సీనియర్ డాక్టర్ అండ్ ఈ సాటిలైట్ డెంటల్ క్లినిక్స్ అనేది ఒక సోషల్ ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్. అసలు చైర్మన్ సార్ చెప్పినప్పుడు మీరు ఎలా ఫీల్ అయ్యారు?
Any change will have a resistance. So obviously, like, as an engineer, you tell something to a dentist, how it can be done? So
True.
for to managing 100 or 400 students, about 300 400 patients in the college itself is difficult. How can we go to villages and get it done? So I mean, that was a very traditional, as I told you, that understanding and a boundary, very conservative thought process at that time for us. So then we realized that oh yeah, what he's telling is true. So we had
We
to
need
do
to
something.
step out.
Yeah, step out and come out of the comfort zone and do something. In that time, I'm very lucky to get that opportunity. To God grace, I don't know, never planned anything. Just got into that gap.
It just happened.
It just happened. Then I myself over the time, I involved myself. For me, what thrilled is that every day used to have a new challenge. So to be very frank, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
So sir, we say that different mindsets come together and complete a team. అసలు ఈ శాటిలైట్ డెంటల్ క్లినిక్స్ అనేది ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ ఫ్రెష్ ఐడియా అండ్ న్యూ ఇనిషియేటివ్. సో ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ మీద వర్క్ చేసిన ఇనిషియల్ టీమ్మేట్స్ ఎవరు?
To be very, I mean, when it all started with just few people. I mean, chairman as a guide, of course, there should be some force, right? So that was my mentor always, Dr. Hanand, who as a director he was there behind us. Then senior faculty members like principal Dr. Surgeon, Dr. Ramraju. So these are all were there behind us. There was nothing, I didn't have any scare or something like that, it fails or something like that. But in the initial days, the only thing was that what was bothering us behind the mind is that sustainability, whether it can sustain or not. Actually speaking, this initiative started because we started couple of clinics for some other reason in about 11 and 12, but 13 14 went on just like that. About thinking on. Then what happened is that somewhere it has to move, as I told you. 2015 I think we started beyond that statutory requirement of 2 rural satellite clinics. So third started in Jewelpalam in 2015. At that time I was alone in terms of operations, because it never required too many manpower at that time. So behind this thing there was a support, and on the field I used to see that how it can be operated, because challenges were different at that time. We started with very primitive idea at that time. So we just wanted to do a preliminary primary care there and refer the patients back here and get the treatment done, but it never worked out in that way. Then slowly, when we thought it has to be in a different way, what we are doing is not right, then it cannot be sustained, because we used to spend a lot of money on that, but there was no return. So we can keep spending money for certain time, then when it becomes heavy for us, what happens is naturally we step back from that. So we gave a serious thought. Then we thought it has to be something make self-sustaining kind of a thing. Then we started mobilizing, doing specialized treatments in those clinics, like endodontic treatment, then braces. So all specialty, we started mobilizing our specialist doctors to those clinics and get more productive. And the locals, the population started appreciating those efforts. Then we got a confidence. Okay, this works like this. Then we started getting some revenue. Then it started fulfilling its own needs. Then that was at 2015. I think we sensed that. Then
so that's your milestone.
Yeah, that's a milestone. Then I think from 2016, later part of 16, Dr. Ramesh stepped in. Dr. Ramesh is alumni of our college. He did his undergraduation with us. Then he went on and do his masters from different dental college. Then he came back and joined us. So one advantage is that being our alumni, they know the basic philosophy of our society or institution. So it's very easy for us to get into the team. The kind of a person he started understanding what, because for me also at that time it is very primitive understanding. So along with me he also started putting his step. Then 16 17, so we all grown with this thing. By I think 2018 Miss Aruna joined us.
My super senior.
Of course she's a super senior, being again engineer.
Yeah.
And she is in a different track.
Such a diversity. Engineers.
We'll come to that later, what diversity it can have. Then she stepped in just because she was working for one social enterprise. So we wanted, so there are a lot of components, when number of clinics are expanding, number of employees are growing. 2018, in fact, she joined at that time. We opened 8 clinics in a year, 2018. So that was the biggest. 2015 we had just started one. Then from there 3 clinics, 2
years,
clinics. Yeah, 2018 in a single year. Then we
just
started
in a single year.
Yeah, back to back. So that was the confidence at that time. Yeah, it works. So then she joined in. Then there was one more doctor, Dr. Kalyan. Again, he was our alumni. Both his graduation and undergraduation, postgraduate masters he did us. Of course, his wife. Both joined rural clinics as in charge doctors at that time. They got married, and 2 of them took 2 different clinics. And when they joined again, they started good job. Then finally, Dr. Kalyan joined with us in a core team. So he contributed well. Today, he's not there with us. He went for his own personal reasons. But these are the early players, Dr. Ramesh, Dr. Kalyan and Aruna all played a role. It's like a teamwork. And we also, other important people still they are working with me. Dr. Karthik, Dr. R.V. Raju. And these 2 special people who have a different, mindset where these people can speak to any person in the community. Okay, they have a very good PR skills. Even dumbest person on the road, if they're walking, they can go and speak to them. So they have that inclination, getting connected with very easily with the people. And the Karthik also has got big networking skills, the way using his own resources. So in a way, that's what see that we have those who have good PR skills. And where it can, when we go for survey, it's not that I go alone. No, so we have a team like Dr. Ramesh, as I told you, Karthik, Dr. Avi Raju. We all go together because each one can think in different direction, different dimensions,
which is very beneficial.
Which is beneficial for us. So then we come to a conclusion what can happen. Then we also over time we developed. We need a person to launch or setting new clinics. Mr. Ashok Verma, he is working with us. So we trained him, what are our expectations, how design it should be. So now for my easy job is that tell him, give a plan, it has to be like this. So he will catch hold of people and get it done. And from stores who provides inventory, Mr. Raghava, he also accompanies for various reasons with us. So he knows, a clinic requires what. Earlier we used to give a list paper, he used to tick and all. Now he knows system. So he makes everything prepared, working with Mr. Umesh in the stores who is in charge. So they prepare themselves, procure everything, keep it ready. So in one shot it goes and, we set up the clinic. So then also when very important, the other people we have a nurse, Manga Tayaru. So she trains, all those people who work in those clinics who are as assistants. So we take her help. So she goes and spends, sometimes few days in a clinic to train them up. So like that now team is pretty big. It's not a small team or a one-man show. And he also has, different mindsets, right? So it's not always, good to have people will have a same frequency of mindset.
Yeah,
it's always
true.
Better to have,
diverse
mindset so that, the all
we can
angles
explore
of
more creative ideas.
Yeah. So whether it is a challenge, any task, we can have, different perception on those things.
True.
So even I feel, we have that in place today.
So, sir, until now, other than financials, what is the biggest challenge you faced during this thing?
Yeah, for us, anytime finance was not a best because chairman himself told that, so you don't have to worry too much about. We never had any pressure, to be very frank, about, financial performances. What was bothering, how to manage this? Running a dental clinic or any healthcare facility is not easy as, running any kirana shop. There you buy a commodity and sell to a customer. So here stakeholders are, very diverse. You have a clinic, you have a dentist there, supporting staff, then you have a number of patients visiting with different backgrounds, right? Then you need to have a person who gives a laboratory support, then, logistics of your inventory, then technical person to maintain the equipments, right? So, too many stakeholders, and it's really, to be very frank, it needs high level coordination to make it work. So that challenges were diverse. Then finding a doctor. We wanted our own doctors to work, our graduates, for a year or so. So attrition rate is very high in terms of, they all work for a year or two. Then they choose their, life path, whether they have to go to masters or they establish their own clinic. But anyway, that's the primary objective. So we wanted to employ our own graduates to do good for them. So we never mind. So finding a next ready doctor there and fill the gap quickly and without affecting the continuity of care to the patients, that was the biggest challenge. Managing HR is a bigger challenge here to any date. Buying and equipment material buying is not as difficult as managing HR.
So sir, in the initial days, who is your go-to person when you need an advice?
Obviously in hierarchical system, in our system, for me, my mentor was our director, Dr. Anand, right? If anything has to happen, but I used to discuss with him. Equally, very proactively used to, give his ideas, suggestions, and discuss, whether it is right, wrong. At that time, it was not a time at that time to decide who is right, who is wrong, because we all are on the same platform. So we learned over the years, mistakes after mistakes. We have done that, every mistake in the journey made us, more stronger and fine. That's how we learned. So to that, to be as a very core this thing, I think him. But for me, people who are close to me, very closely work with me, whether Dr. Ramesh, Dharna or Kalyan, who all work, and many supporting staff. In fact, we have Uma. She tracks daily activities in every clinic. So these are all mentors for us. We learned each other lot many things over time.
Together as a team.
Yes, exactly.
So sir, how did this project impacted you as a person, as you said before?
For me, I think it had a great impact on me as a personality. As I told you in the beginning itself, I have grown with this project. Today, it's a decade old. I changed many things. Myself, I can tell you that, it changed for good. Then I learned many things from this. And equally, I got those many opportunities to learn. Not everyone will get an opportunity, but I got this, very unique opportunity. So I grown with this project.
And not everybody learns from their opportunities, sir. So it's very inspiring that you have learned from your opportunities. Sir, can we discuss about the diversity that you have mentioned before in this team? Engineers, doctors.
So we have a very diverse this thing, as I told you, starting with our chairman, then Dr. Anand, director. So as a clinician, you'll have, fair idea about practice management can happen.
This brings some beauty to the team and also some confusion also. Our terminology, engineer's terminology may not be comfortable to the dentist. And of course, dentist terminology is not comfortable to engineers.
Obviously.
So, then, how did you guys manage this confusion?
See, if you tell me an engineer working with us, so she has got she comes from an entirely different background. Okay, she as basic core education is in engineering. Then she went on to do her management course, right? She worked for a social enterprise. So one individual has got a diverse this thing. Just imagine one single individual, you have got a diverse this thing. She has got a bit of a good knowledge about computers. Okay, even she don't know, she can catch it up very easily, and she has got a better connect when you talk about anything about social intricacies. I think she is a much more better person than me. Technically, to be very frank, for me to only see that how it can be made viable, how to set up as a dentist, doing a survey community. Over the time, I learned, where it can work, where it may not work. So earlier, maybe a decade back, even I didn't have a fair idea about it. So I traveled a lot, almost. I think I'm not from Andhra, basically. I don't know whether I traveled every district of Andhra Pradesh. So I know nook and corners of majority of the districts in Andhra. So that's how I learned, and I enjoyed it. Then diversity, that's what, traveling was never this thing for me. So I started traveling because it was required. Started interacting with many people from various walks of life. Then of course, obviously working with some philanthropists. Earlier we used to work with a lot of philanthropists to sponsor some space for a clinic. Then I forgot to tell you that one more stakeholder, very important. We used to have donors, sponsors for these things. And working with them, again, it's a challenge. So that's how diversity this project needs diversity, because it has got a technical component, it has got a social component, it needs a dentist mind, right? It needs supply chain management. So you tell me, which component of this is not required here? Yeah. It can take as many as people from different things, where engineers come into. Yeah. We need computer. Okay, we need softwares to manage patient data. We need analytics, right? So even today you talk about machine learning, AI, everything. So you tell me the front lead of this thing is in medical sciences. So why can't it? Healthcare.
Yeah, it is so popular nowadays.
There. So it makes our life easy. To make our life easy, we have to embrace technology. There is no other go than that. Yeah. So chairman was telling, so you have a huge gap. Telling is a decade back. I was thinking, what gap, where to find a gap, all those things. So I was, just a couple of weeks, I was reading a book called Blue Ocean Strategies by an author called Chan Kim and Rini, if I'm not wrong. So it's chairman was a decade back, he was telling you have a great scope, great potential to do in rural dentistry. So basically this guy talks about, so he says there is something called as, red ocean strategy, where it's a very traditional boundaries, traditional, you compete with someone. Okay, it's a competitive business. So there's a dentist next to me and I put that my business and you compete with them. So it's very traditional. So whereas, blue ocean strategies, what they tell is that, so you need to build a business where there should be an uncontested area. So no competitors there. It's a unique business on. You tell me, so what he told us a decade back and today what I read is the same.
That's
only
what our chairman said.
Terminology changes, right?
ఓడిపోతామనే భయం లేనప్పుడు ఖచ్చితంగా సక్సెస్ అవుతాం.
అవును. So rural areas have been, there was no scope. There was no one to compete with us. It's a unique for us. It's pleasure speaking to you. Then whatever you wanted to know from this, I hope I touched few milestones and
yeah, sir. Even we are learning so much from the dentists.
Yeah. It's good, So you,
we're expanding our knowledge
so
in the dental.
Yeah, you're studying engineering and,
true.
Today you're talking to me as a, you call me for a guest for podcast. So that's, that itself it holds, every human should have a diverse interest. Then you can see many things.
Yeah.
So if you see only in one direction, I don't think
we could ever learn something.
We have to step out of our comfort zone and see that where opportunities are there for a better life in future.
And sir, as you said, learning from all the challenges you faced. Now, in the previous week, you people opened the 40th clinic, which
True.
is tremendously great, I feel. So congratulations on that, sir.
Thanks.
All the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for sharing your experience and expertise with us.
So probably we'll meet you again after a decade when we have a 100th clinic.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So
why decade? Let's cut it to half.
Very practically, to say it needs a time. So now we are just, preparing ourselves to take that acceleration and complete those all 10 in 2024. So keeping that in mind, then probably we may not require even, another a decade to open another 50. So we can do it with less time. When it is small, people will not recognize.
Yeah.
Correct? So when it grows big, then probably people jump into that. All business houses all started with very small, humble, small businesses. Today they have grown big. So who knows tomorrow? I am very, positive about it. Very aspirational in the sense. After 10 years, who knows when it becomes good and we'll have many people with diverse interest.
Yes, sir. Talking about that, even I can share the experience of Vishnu podcast, which started with only a single member, then expanded to 3, then expanded to 15. Now it's about 25-30 people.
Oh, great to know about it.
Different segments of designers, audio editors, hosts, content writers, social media marketers.
Okay, really, I was never knew about this. Today I get to know about 25 plus or 30 students. You have your own club. Yes. And you have recruitment every year to step in. Great to know. Very good, nice. Nice to know about that.
Sir, I really enjoyed this interview thoroughly. I hope the listeners will enjoy this as much as I did. Thank you so much for being here once again.
Thanks a lot, Kavya. Sparing some, having invited me to share my thoughts. So good, we'll keep meeting. And you can also, call guests as or all the team members so that you can understand their mind. Then what mindsets they have. Then where is the, that concurrent point where we all are meeting.
Yeah, sir. Even we are looking forward to meet Dr. Ramesh, as you said, who is an alumni of our Vishnu Dental College.
Yeah, time to come, it happens. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.